Hey everybody, we're going to hit it right now with part 12. Get right back into part 12 of our Every Man's Battle study. This section is called Secrets. When I met Sandy, we made a commitment not to have sex before we were married, and we didn't. I didn't tell her about my past, however, nor did I disclose all the secret compartments named past relationships or promiscuity. As a result, I dragged my past into our marriage, which produced problems, just as she dragged her own set of problems into our marital union. Our marriage almost didn't survive the first few tumultuous years. Most marriages don't. Let me just throw these numbers at you real quick here. Around 67% of marriages end in divorce. 30-some-odd% of marriages stay together for religious reasons, cultural reasons, or because we don't divorce in our family. Maybe it's for the children or whatever. You got 1 to 3% of marriages. 1 to 3% of marriages that are really, really awesome, doing everything the way they want to get it done, and really being great at it, and using the right tools. So keep that in mind as we go forward. I'll do another video about that later on or something like that. But if you have questions about those statistics, let me know. I know I work with marriages every day. I know what this looks like. The angrier I became at Sandy during those dark times, the more lustful my thoughts would be. I began living in a secret world of gratification that came from looking at other beautiful women, whether they were found in fashion magazines or women's magazines. Looking back, I see how those images broke the connection between us. But I was ignorant of the fact that I was hurting my marriage. After all, I wasn't having sex with anyone except her. I wasn't going all over, I wasn't getting all over massages in seedy parts of town, or even masturbating to those photo spreads of barely clad models. But I was bringing something into the marriage that didn't need to be there. I felt entitled to have this secret world where I experienced small doses of gratification by looking up and down well-built women. That hurt my marriage, and it does. What I, along with Fred, needed to do was train my eyes and mind to behave. I needed to align my eyes and mind with Scripture to avoid every hint of sexual immorality. Before we get into an action plan of realigning your eyes and mind, however, we need to talk further about the roots of sexual bondage. How is it that so many Christian men can't find their way out of sexual sin? Well, we'll start exploring why in the next chapter. Now, this next section is called The Heart of a Woman. Before I read that real quick, though, I just want to point out that, yes, absolutely, men are looking at other women. They're receiving gratification from them, but they're dragging these problems into their marriage, and they're creating a void. Oftentimes, you get into a fight, an argument with your wife, and then you go and look at pornography or masturbate to pornography as an escape or as a retribution. I'm going to get you back. You know, it's my saying that I'm entitled and I'm right and I'm going to win by doing it this way. I'm telling you, you are hurting your relationship with your marriage, with your spouse, and you're hurting your relationship with God. And you're doing things, you know, we gotta find out why, right? So we gotta get realigned. We gotta fix our eyes. We gotta fix our mind. This next section, before we get to the next chapter, I'm gonna go into this. It's called The Heart of a Woman. Let me see here. Okay. The heart of a woman. Male sexual impurity can be unsettling, even shocking to women, which is why we're including sections from interviews we conducted with women regarding Every Man's Battle. Dina, when asked about her reaction to this book's premise, replied, "This stuff is crazy. Women don't have that problem." Fawn decided men and women are so different in their sexual wiring that it defies understanding. I was surprised to learn, she said, that Christian men have this problem even after they're married. So are the Christian men. Most of them think the problem will go away once they are married. It doesn't. I found the intensity of the problem to be shocking. Kathy said, I do not know the depth that men would go and the risk they would take to satisfy their desires. It's pretty unbelievable what a man will do. I was unaware of how intense these temptations are and how much defense a man must muster to avoid stepping over God's boundaries. And yet they do. We do it. Men will do it. Step over God's boundaries, step over the boundaries of marriage, step over so many things to receive sexual gratification. And look, men, this is what I'm talking about. And this is why I say, I don't want you to feel ashamed. Don't feel ashamed, because listen, this stuff is going on. It's out there. It's everywhere, but we've got to overcome it. Don't be ashamed of it. I know you think that yours is so dark that you can't say anything. Your area is so dark, but listen, that's exactly what we're talking about here. The darkest possible area that you could think of, that's what we're talking about here. And that's what you can overcome. You can overcome it, okay? But that's what these women are shocked by. But they don't understand that's just the way things are. And it is that way. Okay? Heard one guy say one time, it just bees that way. Well, guess what? Sometimes it just bees that way, you know? Andrea said that from talking with her father and the different guys that she dated, she knows that men are easily attracted visually, but she never realized the major extent of this problem until she met her future husband. At the time, he was my closest friend in the youth group, but we were not romantically inclined. Andrea said he did feel safe enough with me to share his problem with pornography. It was quite a battle for him, as he had first been exposed to it in the 3rd grade. I was a little amazed by it all, because although I was attracted to guys by their looks during my dating years, the physical attraction I felt was nothing compared to what a man feels when looking at a woman. Absolute fact. And I'm working with a guy right now who shared, before he was married, shared with his current spouse the issues, that he had with pornography. But, not to quite the extent that it actually was. He was open, but not fully opened. And, and the problems do come up, the problems do come up. But that's okay, because even he can overcome. Everybody can overcome. Brenda, Fred's wife, also participated in the interviews. She summarized the typical female response. I don't want to sound mean, but because women don't generally experience this problem, it seems to us that some men are uncontrolled perverts who don't think about anything but sex. It even affects my trust in men, knowing that pastors and deacons could have this problem. I don't like it that men lustfully take advantage of women in their thoughts, although I realize that women can be largely to blame because of what they wear. It's at least some comfort to know that many men have this problem. Since most men are affected, we really can't call you guys perverts. It's fact. Gee, thanks, Brenda. Actually, you made an important point, and it brings up additional thoughts from a man's perspective. We men understand your shock. After all, we're often overwhelmed in the sexual area, and we loathe it ourselves. That's why we want mercy, although we know we don't deserve mercy. How much mercy can be found in a woman's heart when she looks upon this problem? Not surprisingly, it depends on her husband's situation. So, and I'll finish that up in the next part. But listen, the situation is very simple. We all deal with it. We can overcome it. You can overcome it. Be strong. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God. Paul never gives you a time where it's okay to take off the armor of God. Pray every piece over your body. Be strong in the Lord. I will make another video about the armor of God as well, and we'll go into part 13 today. Thanks.